Picture it. Your home overlooks the valleys of the southern Appalachian Mountains. Your village, along with fellow tribes, lines the riverbank. Imagine starting the day like any other. You wake up, you harvest the crops, you take care of the young village children, you do your chores, you cook the game from that day, and then, like any other kid, you go off and have fun when all the work is done. This is a typical day for a Cherokee teenage girl, until the entire tribe is bombarded by prospectors who are in search of gold and will do anything to get it. These gold hunters force the Cherokees off of their land and out of their homes. They must start anew in an unknown place with new experiences as well as hardships. This journey they took to make a new living is known as the Trail of Tears. Listen to the tale of a Cherokee Indian, Lona, as she tells us what life was like as a Native American teenager in A Cherokee's Life on the Trail of Tears.
My name is Lona, and I am a 16-year-old Cherokee Indian. It might sound like a strange name, and it's definitely different, but it's very popular among my people. It means beautiful. Everything about the Cherokee culture and way of life is beautiful. Its people, its traditions, its beliefs, and its customs. Being a Cherokee was a picturesque thing until that dreaded day. It took us a while to feel the same way about our beautiful Cherokee life after we had to start over in a new place. My life changed the day I was torn away from my homeland. I'll start from the beginning so you can learn what it's like to be a Cherokee. My native people lived in the mountains and valleys of the southern Appalachian Mountains in Georgia. After our generation was long gone, our descendants moved out to what is now present-day North and South Carolina, Tennessee, northern Georgia, and Alabama.
The Cherokees lived in villages running up and down the riverside of the Tennessee River.
We were a very fashionable Indian tribe for our time. The women made their own clothes as well as the clothes that their families wore. Women made outfits out of deerskins as well as used plants and wove it into clothing material. All the women and young girls in my tribe wore short skirts, while the men wore breechcloths, leggings, and moccasins. Unlike the women, many Cherokee men tattooed and painted their bodies. When we had free time, we played lacrosse. It was a very popular game of the Cherokee culture. Lacrosse was played in 2 teams with 60 players on each team. It sounds like a lot of people, but that's because we challenged other tribes, whether it be a fellow Cherokee tribe or a tribe like the Chickasaws or the Creek tribes. The object of lacrosse was to scoop up the ball with a stick and send it through a pair of goalposts. The first team to score 20 points won. Cherokee men and women had different jobs. All of us young girls and our mothers and grandmothers planted, tended, and harvested the crops. Our mothers cooked and wove mats and baskets. My friends and I would do things like gather nuts and make clothes and pottery. Unlike us, the men of our tribe built canoes and made things like drums, rattles, tools, and weapons. My father and his men were responsible for providing food for their families. My favorite Cherokee custom was our renowned corn festivals.
There were 2 types, the Green Corn Festival and the Mature Corn Festival. The Green Corn Festival occurred in late June or early July, depending on when the first corn ripened, and lasted about 4 days. The Mature Corn Festival took place 45 days after the Green Corn Festival.
During these festivals, we prayed to the spirits of nature and asked for their help and guidance during the harvesting season. We performed the stomp, feather, and buffalo dances and would take part in the rinsing of water ritual. This ritual was to cleanse you of all your faults and impurities. Throughout this celebration, we would paint our faces white to represent happiness and have fun with all of our family and friends. The last corn festival I remember celebrating was on the night that the white men invaded our land. We started out the festival like any other, when during traditional corn festival dances, we had white men cross into our territory. They had weapons and tools and determined looks on their faces. We stopped the dance and our chief stepped up and confronted these men. They said that they had come in search of gold and that we must leave this land immediately.
In 1828, gold was exposed in the Cherokee Territory in northern Georgia by Frank Logan. Men started flowing into the terrain, hoping to uncover some gold in hopes of making a fortune. By 1830, more than 300 ounces of gold was being produced from that area.
Then, they handed our chief a piece of paper. It was signed by President Andrew Jackson.
Everything changed in 1830 with the Indian Removal Act issued by President Andrew Jackson. This act forced all types of Native American tribes in the Southeast to move beyond the Mississippi River to Indian Territory in Oklahoma because European settlers wanted their land. Military forces drove out Cherokees who were unwilling to give up their land. One federal army commander made the comment, "All who cling to their old hunting grounds will be killed off." Sadly, this commander was telling the truth. The Cherokee Nation faced a powerful distress and disturbance when these men came to drive them out of their land they have always known.
We were forced out of our homes and the land I have known and loved my whole life. We compromised and left without putting up a fight, but some of our people resisted. It wasn't fair to me and to Indian people everywhere. I could not bear the thought of the injustices we were given. My family and I started out to Oklahoma with our clan. This trail was the most brutally exhausting and emotional tiring journey I have ever been on. It wasn't anything like home. Not only did our surroundings constantly change, but the people we have known for a lifetime changed into bitter, sickly, and emotionless beings.
Famously, this journey to new land was called the Trail of Tears for many reasons. The people who dared to travel this trail by foot were faced with hardships such as harsh weather, gruesome sickness, malnourishment, and assaults by white men. Over 4,000 Cherokee Indians died harshly on this trail to Oklahoma. We can only imagine what this nightmare was like, but let's get an inside look from Lona.
We made our way to land a new life. We endured a long, grueling trip to a new home, but we didn't do it alone. Other Native American tribes traveled to the new land also. After a long, grueling fall and winter, we finally started to adjust to our newfound land. Starting fresh in a place is never easy, but we were able to make the best of it with the guidance of the spirits and support of our brothers and sisters within the Cherokee tribe. Being a Cherokee was a struggle, but an honor. The memories and remnants of the Cherokee people will never fade.